Hello, everybody. Are you ready for the most comprehensive, poignant, unparalleled, unpasteurized video on juice fasting that you've ever seen in your wild young years? You've come to the wrong place because this is totally off the cuff. Kind of. I just did a 15-minute video and realized that I was coming off way too angrily because I'm just annoyed at some of the crazy things that are going on in this world right now. And I found I talk way too much, and so the actual thesis of what I'm trying to say is just kind of lost in different converging thought patterns. And regardless, so I am on day 30. Actually, this would be day 31. This is the last day of my juice fast, and quite soon I'm going to make a smoothie that is literally just going to be fresh papaya from my friend's backyard here in Florida and aloe vera from my front garden. It's not really a garden, it's a pot, but I've got an aloe vera plant. And that's going to be the first thing that I eat, and it's probably going to be the only thing that I eat today other than juices, because you definitely need to break a fast correctly or you're going to give yourself some personal injury. You certainly cannot break your fast with anything other than fruit, but it would be difficult to break a fast, I think, on juice with a lot of food or a lot of different fruits, just a lot of different chemistries and things your body needs to metabolize at once. Especially for me, because I have had and experienced a more clear view of the digestive issues that I have by kind of stripping away a lot of the mucus and unfortunately some of the waste that was just lining my intestine. And now that that's all gone, I can kind of see where I'm at, and it's certainly much improved from how terrible it was when I was 16. But I certainly can see that I do have a little ways to go in terms of healing that tissue wholly. And that was kind of the whole point of this cleanse. I talk about in my other video, skinning the snake, that you need a clean colon. It's kind of a representation of your entire lymphatic system. If there's so much waste impacted in your colon, that's just going to be bogging down your entire system of cleaning, which is the lymphatic system, which is one of the biggest systems of the body. It's over the entire vascular and venous system, and it is what comes into play when your body needs to clean itself out. And typically, when you're having diseases and you're having issues, it's from accumulated waste, in a sense, and the most basic way to say it. And so, if that is congested by your dietary habits, by your environmental conditions, then you need to make way of pulling all that out. And your digestive tract, I would say, is the first place to start, while synergistically, while working with your kidneys and adrenal glands, because your adrenal glands control your kidneys, and your kidneys are also one of the main illuminative organs of your body next to your skin. And your digestive tract, or your anus, and finally your throat and your nose. You're just going to be coughing up mucus at different points, and that certainly did happen to me while I was doing this cleanse. Um, and a lot of other disgusting things that I will get into, because that's the whole point of this, right? We gotta get into the nitty gritty. Let's find out what demons I casted out. So I completed my colonics, I think, fully, and I will maybe be going back just for maintenance and just to maybe see what some other things, if anything else, might never come out. But I did 40, and it seems as though I have cleaned my colon. 40 colonics, yeah, it's a lot. And the amount of pain where I was probably looking towards Crohn's disease, and maybe a year before I started making changes. Which Crohn's disease is just a title for a highly eroded and inflamed colon. Crohn's is nothing but a phrase. Um, and so for other people that don't, I apologize for the changes in brightness. I'm using photo booth, and it's just flops in and out. So obviously I was a particular case, and I already spoke about this a lot in the colonic video, but for you, you would see where you're at in your colon health. If your colon feels fine, I would suggest doing at least 15 and just seeing what's going on. And I would, of course, suggest juice fasting, not only because it's more efficable, but it's also a great way to prove to yourself that it's not what you're eating that's coming out of you, because it's not. Um, Juice fasting has there's a little bit of insoluble fiber, or soluble fiber, excuse me, in the juice. You'd see it just by putting the juice down and letting it sit, and you see how it separates from the water. And if you're drinking 5 quarts of juice a day, you're going to have a little bit of stuff come out of you. That's just an accumulation of the soluble fiber. So you do poo on a juice fast, and I don't like people that act like you don't, because some people say, I'm going to juice fast until I stop pooing. That's not going to happen. You're going to have some little things, and this is silly, but it's impractical to do that. It's unfounded, and you could be working towards a goal that's never going to happen. So why am I stopping the juice fast? I began the juice fast as almost a protest, and also because I had a lot of time on my hands with this whole quarantine debacle, of which I fervently disagree with, and I can talk more into now, but they're basically saying every hospice death has been associated with coronavirus, when in most cases it hasn't. About 90% around, averaged of people that are even admitted to the hospital for coronavirus had prior conditions that are often debilitating. And they're pretty much saying that nearly every death is coronavirus related, be it a heart attack, be it a stroke, regardless. And they're acting as if that death, and they're titling that death as coronavirus. And that's not a conspiracy. You can see them literally explaining that. And I could link a video or what have you, but the CDC literally said that. So you can assume that maybe half of the deaths in America, at least, are fraudulent. And I'm not going to deny that there have been some issues, which again are a little bit dubious. But I can admit that in a few areas of the world there are issues. But with all diseases, you're going to have to be able to, viruses, which again, this is a kind of a different topic, but the reason I did this was to kind of confront this issue. With a virus, the virus remains the same. So not only, first of all, is the coronavirus test completely inconclusive. It is not a test that was made for the coronavirus. It was made to test for, actually wasn't made to test for infectious diseases at all, according to the manufacturer, but as they've been using it, it's been for a variety of different viruses. It tests certain reactions and antibodies in your blood that are not determinable of coronavirus in general, and are completely variant. And I guarantee you, if I paid for these expensive ass tests, and I took 3 of them, I guarantee you I would maybe get a different result in one of them. Also doing this was to prove that I wasn't going to get sick from this, and I have been going outside. I've had to wear a mask because by threat of the law, which is an absolute nonsense, it's a nonsensical, draconian thing to force me to not only wear a mask, but to stay 6 feet away from someone, to not be able to drive with my car and with another person in my car in some places. This is America, and if we all kill ourselves doing it, then that's fine. But I think it's absolutely absurd that by threat of law, we are forced in our homes for an expedited amount of time. They have threatened almost to make into an 18-month. It's absolutely heresy. It's unfounded, and these deaths are heavily inflated, and the fear mongering is just absolutely ridiculous. And you should never get your information from the news, because they thrive on fear. That's why whenever you watch news, there's never a good thing to say ever. There's no progress to what they're saying. It's just devolvement and self-ingratiating solipsism, whatever. It's whatever. I'm getting besides the point. So, if you get a virus, they're saying that all these people that have coronavirus have no symptoms. They probably just the test is probably just wrong. But based on that fact, why would some people be completely fine to the coronavirus, and some people be basically inwardly imploding? See, the virus stays the same, but the person is different. They act like, oh, well, some kids are dying from this. No, nearly every case, if you actually look in past the headline of the people they said died that were totally healthy and fine and young and vibrant, they were either morbidly obese, babies that are dying were 22 weeks premature. There's always, a cofactor to this that they don't want to say because it doesn't sell headlines, it doesn't sell clicks. Louis Pasteur invented germ theory, popularized it, and got the most developed, what is used today. He was lauded for it. Before his death, he completely, for the most part, denounced his claims and said that a healthy cell, a virus, cannot permeate, it cannot attack, it cannot kill a healthy host. It is completely due to the body they host. So if they want to mandate vaccines, they had better be mandating a healthy diet, which they know is true. Even the CDC knows what a healthy diet is. But no, they'd rather, and first of all, they'll never, in America at least, Trump would never allow a mandatory vaccine. However, a lot of businesses might start doing this. They might start saying, hey, you're not coming back to work unless you're vaccinated. A lot of schools are going to say this too, and we need to be able to say absolutely not, because it's not even a conspiracy anymore. I mean, when one benefit of all of this is that people are kind of waking up to this reality, but vaccinations are incredibly damaging. And so if you want to talk about inoculation, that's a separate issue that I don't personally, just subscribe to. But the amount of poison that you're injecting into yourself to so-called better your health from this disease or better your immune system, it's incomparable. And oftentimes, even with all these preservatives and chemicals, the bacterium that's inside of it is dead. And there's no logic to bypassing your natural immune system and go straight to your bloodstream with not only a deadly virus, but hundreds of different chemicals in certain amounts. It's an atrocious concept. It's so fundamentally idiotic, but unfortunately, they've created this entire sphere of information that they've concocted for themselves of all, making it seem like these vaccines have done so many great things, but in reality, that's just not the case. And I guess that's a topic for another video. But if they want to mandate vaccines, then they should damn well be mandating, not eating meat. Meat is a carcinogen, and it's proven to weaken immunity. How about, all these food preservatives that were, some of them initially prescribed as antibiotics? How about those? If you want to talk about building immunity, you fools. Either way, I plan on doing this juice fast until quarantine is over. But the issue with these juice fasts, as I've explained, is that you can be cleansing a lot and you can be incredibly tired. And I've had very interesting experiences in my moods where I felt very hollow or I felt, fantastic. And there's going to be a lot of emotion because you're allowing your body to regulate itself in terms of any issues that were in it before. And your body's trying to do this always. But if you're bringing in food, as I was saying, the digestive tract can take up to 80% of the digestion of the body. Your body is made to digest food. It's the biggest organ in your body besides your skin is your intestinal tract. In a grown man, it's 40 feet long. In a grown woman, it's 30 to 35. In a child, it's half that. But you're relieving yourself of that. Your body is finally able to dump as much as it can because it's not eating anything. It's not metabolizing much. You're getting most of your calories. You're getting all the daily calories or stuff that you need. However, you're not going to feel as satiated because you're not digesting much, A. B, you're trapped a little bit in, however long you've lived, that many years of eating solid food 3 times a day. And you're experiencing a lot of healing and internal changes that sometimes will not feel very good, and that's what I think needs to be known. You're not always going to feel very good doing this. It's actually usually quite the opposite. Depends where you're at. I was a lot more sick when I did my 21-day grape fast than I was on this fast. And I did 30 days on juice, and most of it was watermelon juice. And I had a lot easier of a time doing it. However, um, I am noticing that I am just more tired than I want to be right now, and I don't know if I need to carry it on much longer. I think 30 days is a good way to go. Um, is a good place to stop. How long you should do it depends entirely on you, and I would suggest for most people to not start with a juice fast, especially not if you have been eating a standard American sad, unfortunately, completely uh, inconducive to the human body diet. You should switch to a raw vegan diet and then do a fruit diet and be taking herbs and supporting your body first. Absolutely, if you're doing a juice fast, uh, you should be taking enemas and taking colonics. Um, and I think that that's a given, and I apologize if some people think that you should be getting it out alone. Um, again, if you're putting food in unnaturally for so long, do not expect it to easily be taken out unnaturally. Sorry, naturally. And even if juice fasting is kind of like in its own sense an unnatural form of healing, but very slightly. And um, watermelon, I mean, I've juiced countless watermelons in this past month, and there's hardly even a cup of fiber in it, and I'm getting 6 quarts of juice from a good watermelon. So that's a debate on its own, but you have to expect um, that you could have some issues by making a change that quickly. So you have to support your eliminative organs. A lot of people get into this to make sure their kidneys filter. I didn't do as much dry fasting during this as I wanted to. However, if my body wanted to do it, I would have done it. I couldn't really dry fast. I was feeling very thirsty, and even when I tried to pass those thresholds, I still couldn't really do it. And I think that has to do with a few things that I won't talk about now. But I went to carry this on into quarantine, and I believe that today would be the last day of quarantine because that's what I was told by our governor. But now it looks like he's expanding it maybe for another week to 2 weeks because my county isn't opening. Most counties in Florida are opening on May 4th, but mine isn't. Um, which is a blight to my sister who is going to be here shortly. And her birthday is May 11th, so maybe that'll be a week later, maybe that'll be open. But parks are opening, back open, which is nice. And I'm very, very grateful for the position that I'm in. And I'm not in any way trying to diminish or demonize any of the issues that people have been getting because, I mean, it is flu season. There's a lot of stress in the air. I'm not denying that people are dying. I'm denying that we need to shut down an entire country. Eventually, people are going to be inoculated by this. In most parts of the country, we are taking preventative measures to make sure that we don't have an abundance of people in our hospital centers. But most places that by this point do not need to carry this on. Their hospital centers are not over encumbered, and the main issue with everyone is that everyone's lost their goddamn job, and it's insane, and it's completely, as we are seeing, unnecessary. They equated 2 million Americans would die by this. Now it's 60,000, and as I said, that's probably a way overestimate because not only do they get way more money for the hospitals from the government for declaring a coronavirus diagnosis, they get even more money for putting them on ventilators. And now we're finding that ventilators are exacerbating people's issues. They're putting people on ventilators that don't need to be put on ventilators. And it's just a shit show. And I'm very sorry if you've lost your job. I'm in a very, it's not ideal, and I have my issues, and life has its issues that are variant for everyone. You could have a terrible life for the first 10 years of your life and have so much fortune up ahead. So never act like someone's better than you. That celebrity that's out there, you know, ostensibly having a great time and could get in a car accident tomorrow and they could be dead. So don't never make a victim out of yourself. You can always empower yourself, and I think a great way to do it is through your diet, because only logically the only thing you're doing by eating the wrong food for yourself is fucking yourself even further, and you're never going to get out of health issues if you don't make changes towards your diet, because that's all that matters. And so start with the digestive tract. Juice fasting is a great way to do it. You just have to make sure that your body isn't too toxic or too weak that this might be an unpleasant experience for you. And we can talk about that also. But all in all, it wasn't that difficult of a thing to do. Um, I'm stopping it because I'm just too tired during the day, and I have a lot of friends that are down right now, and I don't want to be a husk, which an Elon husk. And it's not like that's 100% the case, but I'm tired visibly, and a lot of times I don't want to be in social situations. I want to be laying down. So I experienced, in summation on this fast, mental clarity, along with a decent amount of mental fatigue, which honestly was more prevalent than mental clarity, but I did have moments of great clarity and bliss. I experienced bowel movements that were heavily acidic, that were just water, on 3 separate occasions that lasted over an hour of just me sitting on the toilet having excavations of just acid water. I experienced several bowel movements that were only mucus. I coughed up a lot of mucus. I experienced very vivid dreams, very deep sleep certain nights after taking my tinctures. I took a lot of Dr. Morse's herbal tinctures during this. And I experienced a reasonable amount of intestinal discomfort and reasonably vicious smelling gas while I'm drinking only watermelon juice. Also, when you drink only watermelon juice, you have relief mints that are bright pink, which was fantastic. But I know overall I've experienced a great amount of detoxification, especially healing my colon, which I think was what I have been sleeping on for pretty much the entire time that I've been doing this. And ultimately, doing this, I have achieved what I meant to achieve overall, which is a clean intestinal tract, which took me 40 colonics and several juice fasts, but it has to be done if you expect to have optimal health or quickly and effectively heal yourself from any disease. So yes, so I'm going to drink this papaya smoothie, and I'm going to make a video after it to see how I feel. I'm Cameron Schauder.